And I'm just kind of curious if what would what sort of impact on condensation, water vapor, and other sort of liquid, and is there maybe an idea of how to channel whatever water that may be excess water that may be generated from this? Because I'm assuming that with steam and condensation and stuff like that, how would that water be treated and used? Just something off the top of my head. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not
Sorry.
sure if I got them all, but and again, we're just starting, so we don't know all the answers. We don't know who the company would be. I can tell you from my experience in similar projects that there is usually an attempt to use as many local workers as possible. As far as how the workers are treated and if people are brought in, what support, there are often programs such as carpooling, temporary areas for parking and carpooling to the project site to reduce dust emissions, to reduce the amount of traffic.
If I interrupt, so is a road going to be built out to the location?
There are existing roads now.
Okay.
There are existing roads, but
Okay.
The roads through the test range, we will not want to use because they go right through the target, and it's one of the most used military target ranges in the U.S.
Right.
So for the early exploration phase, we can use it, but once we get to the contracting with a significant amount of construction, then a secondary road will need to be put in place.
Oh, thank you.
Again, those are great comments to make that we can address in the document. Things like carpooling can be mitigation measures. We look at what are the potential workforces. We'll address that in the environmental document. How many people would it take to drill the wells, to construct the power plant? And those are all some of the things that we'll look at in the impact analysis and see if there's adequate temporary housing or workers, or is there adequate workforce here to supply construction support. One of your questions was, can Lehman company work with IDC and take interns? Lehman and Associates has lease applications, and I don't know if he can do that.
Okay.
It would be premature to talk about what Lehman Energy can and can't do because at this point Navy has not solicited any bids. We don't know who the contractor might be.
Yeah.
But from a general sense, that's sort of the BLM project where Lehman's associated with it. But as a general sense, internships, and we've talked about things like that in other environmental documents, so that's something that could be considered. It's a great comment. Green technology, it's hard to say exactly how things will work. There's certain elements that you need, such as generators to run drill rigs, but that's a great comment. Can that?
Well, it's also like a way of just operating. So rather than shipping something from the other side of the country to the plant, if it's needed, you can use a local supplier.
Okay.
Thus, supporting the local economy and reducing waste and this and that. Just an idea to really try to keep the amount of income generated by this plant within the local economy instead of having to go outside.
Great, I understand. That's a good concept. And yes, decommissioning considers removing everything that the Navy says to remove. And
Zero impact was the term I was thinking of.
Oh, zero impact.
Yeah.
Through decommissioning?
Yes. Or not zero impact, zero waste, I guess. Sorry. It's like zero waste or no impact. I'm sorry, I forget the term.
You want the land turned back to?
Yeah, I was curious if that would be a clause or something that would be is part of the deal. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
And I don't know that Navy has specifications yet for that.
No, but in our other contracts, we definitely do have a place for decommissioning and restoration of and even individual parts of the field as they are of no more use to the project.
Good.
Definitely do.
And recycling has definitely got into that. It's no longer, can they just take
Yeah.
everything to the landfill? Concrete, metal, all of that can be recycled, so good comment.
All right, thank you.
In terms of temperature and condensation, right now it's considered that this would be a binary plant without a lot of emission of water vapor. But it's too soon to say whether or not what the technology would be for the cooling tower. But again, we're here to accept those comments.
Chances are, because as you look around the valley, you will you can see that most of the existing geothermal plants, including Ore Mesa over on the east side and Beaver to the south of us, which most of those facilities are binary. They use a water cooling towers rather than air cooled, and so chances are that greater than not that this facility would also employ a water-based cooling, and so yes, there would be some steam emission, but in this environment, in this desert environment, collecting it or somehow recycling it is very, very difficult.
Yeah. I guess the image is popping in my mind that you would have the plant or a main building on the mountainside, and then there's a little pipe coming out of the building and out of this dripping water, which is generating like a little swampy mess, which is running down the mountainside, and animals are starting to feed off of that. That's just what I'm thinking of in my mind as like what could happen, but I was just thinking off the top of my head.
I would say that.
Okay, I was just worried.
That actually can bring problems of its own if you enhance the environment, even accidentally, and create an environment then that supports habitat that you could very quickly, as an operator, be stuck with or be required to maintain. So,
Okay.
it's a great idea, but it would have to be approached carefully.
Yeah. Just thinking. Yeah.
And what relative to the labor force, I think that what would occur at our project would be, I think, mirror what you already see here in the valley with
Which is?
with the other geothermal facilities.
Okay.
Be it Ormats, Ore Mesa, Heber, the new Brawley facility under construction, or the Salton Sea Field. The percentage of local employees is very, very high.
Okay.
And the stability of the workforce is a real big factor in a facility of that kind. And so bringing in, hiring locally, training locally, bringing them up through the system locally is very, very advantageous to a company. And I did, as we finish this first set of questions, I did want to reiterate what Lori said, that while we recognize that Lehman Energy Associates has applied for geothermal leases on adjacent lands, they really have nothing to do with the Navy project, and so it would be really inappropriate for us to wonder what they might do if they were to develop something down the road, assuming that the leases were issued to them.
But we can wonder, what would a developer do?
Yes.
For the
yes.
Navy.
In more
General terms.
in more general terms.